So good morning, and thanks a million for joining me on the yoga mat this morning. This week's focus is balance and stability. So very important for even just day-to-day life, regardless of what sport we might do. We're kind of going to really tune into what's going on in the body this morning. So balance isn't just about standing on one leg. Balance is about creating unity within the whole body. So kind of noticing if you're finding something in the left and maybe not in the right, or if you find you're maybe rounding a little bit more than you're opening into the body. So really tuning into how we're holding ourselves this morning. So kind of tying it into what we were looking at last week. We were working quite deep into the core. We were working into our lower limbs after. So we're kind of combining them into our practice this morning. So we're going to start in a nice, easy, cross-legged seat, sitting as comfortable, as strong, as long as we can into the spine. We're going to place the palms down on the knees and just see if you can roll those shoulders back, really opening into the heart space here. Noticing if the rib cage is flaring, we're going to sit the belly button in. So we're just engaging in that lovely strong core. We'll start to mobilize into the spine. So we're going to inhale, press the chest all the way over to the right. Bring it through center all the way over to the left. And as we exhale, we'll tuck the chin in and round into that upper back. And we're going to continue to draw those lovely full circles. Maybe pressing the heels of the hands into the legs so we can draw ourselves a little bit further forward and press ourselves a little bit further back. Each circle, we're getting a little bit bigger. We should feel it into one of the hips a little bit more so than the other, depending on how the legs are crossed. Keeping a nice deep bend to the elbows so we can really allow ourselves to fold forward. And again, we're trying to lengthen from the lower back all the time. Relax the breath softly in and out through the nose, not forcing it, just noticing it. And then eventually we'll be back at center. We're going to reverse the crisscross of the legs just to balance out those hips. Hands on the knees, and we'll inhale, press the chest all the way over to the left, through center, all the way over to the right. And as we exhale, tuck the chin in and round into that upper back. And continue rolling into the shoulders, maybe even rolling into the neck if it feels good. Maybe closing down the eyes and just allowing yourself really just go with the flow here. So there's really no right or wrong. I just want you to feel nice and comfortable within the body. Trying to create as much space as we can into the spine, particularly that lower back. Feeling that into the opposite hip. And again, just relaxing the breath here. Excellent. We're going to meet back in seat at center. We'll open the palms to the ceiling and then inhale both arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to the ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward and really stretch between the shoulder blades. And we'll do that 2 more times. So a nice big stretch as we inhale, take the gaze up. And as we exhale, press forward and release. So we'll do that once more. Nice big stretch. And then exhale forward and release. Still getting into the spine and hips here. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up. And as we exhale, gently twist to the right. Place the left hand just above the knee. Right hand on the ground behind us, really close to the lower back. As we inhale, press the hand into the ground, lengthen tall. And as we exhale, press the left hand into the leg as we draw that right shoulder back, taking our gaze over the shoulder. So we're lengthening on the inhale, releasing, twisting, opening on the exhale, and just go as deep as feels good for your body. So not over twisting, just trying to awaken the spine a little bit this morning. So again, in order to achieve our balance, that we need to really engage with those core muscles. And if the core muscles are tight or rigid or not engaged, it's going to be really hard to do that. So we're just trying to create a little bit of space to try to access those core muscles. One more breath. And then gently inhale back through center, little twist to the left, just to release, and then back to center again. We'll reverse the crisscross of the legs once more, again, just balancing out those hips, opening the palms, and we'll inhale both arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, gently twist to the left this time, right hand just above the knee, left hand on the ground behind us. As we inhale, sit tall, lengthen through the spine. And as we exhale, press the right hand into the leg as we peel that left shoulder back, looking over the shoulder. So we're inhaling, lengthening, and we're exhaling, twisting, opening, releasing. Trying to get the front of the chest almost parallel to the side of the room. Nice full belly breaths. Wringing out the core, wringing out the spine. One more breath. And then gently inhale back through center, little twist to the right just to release. And then back to center again. From here, we're going to come to lie back on the ground. If you do have a block and strap, you can have them within reach here. So lying slowly back onto our mats. Knees are bent, feet are flat to start with. We're going to hug the right knee in, give it a nice little squeeze, and then we're going to rest the right ankle just above the left knee, coming into our figure four, pressing the right knee away from the body and really grounding that lower back into the mat. From here, we lift the left foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling, and we can either interlock the fingers around the back of the hamstring, or if we find we're rounding or we're overreaching here, we can get our strap and wrap it around the back of the hamstring, so it's acting as a nice little extension of the arms. So as we inhale gently, walk the shoulder blades together, connect the whole length of the spine to the ground. And as we exhale, draw the left knee a little bit closer as we press the right knee away from the body and really work into that right hip release. So we're inhaling, opening, lengthening. And we're exhaling, deepening, releasing. And again, not forcing it, just feeling that nice sensation into the right glute. Not forgetting to breathe. One more breath. We're going to gently release the left foot to the ground, staying in our figure four. We're going to work into our figure four bridge, and if it's not for you, you can place that right foot down to meet left. We're going to place the hands to the ground, fingertips brush the back of the heel. We're going to inhale, press the foot into the ground, gently peel the lower, middle, upper back off the ground as we lift those hips high. We're going to walk the shoulder blades together underneath the upper back, pressing hands, arms, shoulders, left foot into the ground, lifting those hips nice and high. Feeling the lower back glute hamstring engage. And again, if it's too much, you can place that right foot down to the ground. Noticing if we're feeling pressure in the lower back, I want you to imagine something's about to drop in your belly and you're trying to resist. So really strong in the core. We're going to inhale, lift. And as we exhale, slowly lower the hips, hovering just off the mat. Inhale really slowly up as we press that left foot into the ground. Exhale really slowly lower and continue with your own breath. Noticing if the right knee is pointed toward the ceiling, see if you can draw it a little bit closer outward toward the ground. So we're working into a little hip release, but also engagement. We'll do two more, nice and strong, slow, mindful movements. Last one. And then slowly release all the way down to the ground. We're going to cross the right leg fully over left. Drawing the belly in, we'll hug both knees into the chest. Either interlock fingers around the right knee, the left knee, maybe the left shin, or we can catch hold of the front of the ankles and work them as far away from each other as we can. Relax the shoulders, relax the elbows. As we draw the belly in, we're creating a little bit more space to hug those knees toward the chest. If you want a little bit of upper core, we're going to inhale, lift from the chest. So the head will come off the ground, but there's no stress in the neck. So nice open throat here. Keep drawing those knees toward the chest. Breathing freely for 3. Feeling that into the right hip for 2. And 1. Gently release the head, release the grip, release the feet back to the ground. We're going to uncross the legs. Hug the left knee into the chest. Give it a nice little squeeze. We're going to rest the left ankle just above the right knee, figure 4. Draw the left toe toward the knee and press that left knee away from the body. Rounding the lower back, we lift the right foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling. And again, either interlocking fingers around the back of that right hamstring, or we can use our strap and wrap it around the back of the hamstring. Either way, we're going to walk those shoulder blades together, whole length of the spine connected to the ground. As we exhale, hug the right knee a little bit closer toward the face as we press the left knee away from the body, finding that into the left hip. And just notice how it feels compared to the other side. So I'm noticing here my left side is a little bit tighter. And sometimes it's only by slowing down our body movements that we can really tune into what's going on. Left to right, front to back, top to bottom. And again, not forcing one side to do what the other side did. Noticing, acknowledging, maybe it's something we need to work a little bit more. Maybe it's just how we sat or how we slept. Relaxing into the breath. One more breath on this side. Gently release the grip. Release the right foot to the ground, staying in a figure four. If you know it's not for you, you can place that left foot down to meet right. Hands are to the ground, fingertips brush the back of the right heel. Still pressing that left knee away from the body. We're going to press the right foot into the ground. And on an inhale, gently peel the lower, middle, upper back off the ground as we lift the hips. We'll walk the shoulder blades together. Create space into the heart. Engagement into the core, really lifting those hips, drawing the belly in, so no pressure on that lower back. Pressing that right foot firmly into the ground. We're going to inhale, lift, and as we exhale, gently lower the hips, hovering just off the ground. Inhale, really slowly up. Exhale, really slowly lower, and continue with your own breath. Engaging with the movement, both as we lift, but also as we lower. Keep trying to draw that belly in so we're really engaging. And when I say draw the belly button in, almost imagining like you're trying to touch the back of the spine with the belly button. We'll do one more. And then slowly release all the way down to the ground. We're going to cross the left leg softly over the right, nice and easy. Draw the belly in. We'll hug those knees into the chest, either interlocking fingers around the left knee, the right chin, or maybe catch hold of the front of the ankles and work the heels away from each other. Keep hugging the knees into the chest, relaxing out the shoulders. If you want a little bit of upper core, we're going to lift from the chest and then inhale. And again, nice and free in the neck here. Keep hugging the knees to the chest, not the chin to the knees, knees to the chest. Relax the shoulders, relax the breath. Really feeling that into the left hip. Holding it for 3. Hugging it in for 2. And 1. Gently release the head, gently release the grip, release the feet back to the ground. We're going to uncross the legs. Lovely. Hugging both knees in toward the armpits, so a little bit of hip space here. We're just going to make a few little figure 8 circles into that lower back. Either or both directions, whatever feels good. Melting the shoulders, melting the heart open. And eventually coming to stillness, we'll hug the knees together, crisscross the ankles. Options to make your way any way to seat, or you can rock and roll with me just the once. We're going to bring ourselves forward into a nice strong seat at the front of the mat. We're going to sit back a little bit on our mats toward the center. We'll bring the feet out in front. Knees are together, feet are together, hands are rested on the shins, and just notice if we're collapsing into the spine. So we're going to press the hands into the shins, see if we can press the chest forward, draw the shoulders back, and create a nice long spine here. So knees and feet are together to start with. There's about a foot between the heels and the sit bones. We're going to extend the arms forward, out in front, palms face each other. And then gently roll back, but as we do so, maintain that lovely length in the spine, keeping the gaze fixed to a point out front, so a drishti point in yoga. Getting a little bit light onto the tippy toes here, we can stay here. We might bring one shin parallel to the ceiling, touch down, bring the opposite shin parallel to the ceiling, touch down, and we might continue to alternate legs. We might bring both shins together, but again, try not to collapse into the spine, keeping the heart open, gaze is fixed out in front. So big part of our balance is finding that focus point. And if we want to challenge our balance, we can close our eyes. We're going to hold it wherever we are for this round. Lifting from the chest, lengthening the spine for 3. For 2. And 1. Crisscross the ankles. We're going to gently fold forward and release. Release the head, release the neck. Maybe shake into the hips a little bit, releasing into the lower back and glutes. Relax the breath. Coming to stillness, we'll tuck the chin in, slowly walk the hands back toward the body. Again, we'll bring those feet out in front. Knees are bent, feet are flat, nice and strong into the spine. We're going to bring those hands forward out in front, palms face each other. And again, we'll gently roll back. Keeping the spine long, maybe coming up onto the tippy toes. So to challenge our balance, the least points of contact on the ground, the more challenging. The more points of contact, the more grounding. Again, we might alternate shins parallel to the ceiling, but again, keep that lovely length in the spine. We might bring both shins together. If we want to challenge it a little bit further, we're going to lift those hands so that they're above the shins, almost like we're holding a ball between the hands. So again, nice and strong here in the arms. We're going to draw the right knee in and straighten the left leg. Draw the left knee in as we straighten the right, and continue with your own breath. Just a nice relaxed breath here, not getting too caught up with the count. Just making sure that we're breathing. So bringing a little bit of movement, challenging our balance even more, keeping that length of the spine, keeping that heart open. Again, you can lift the hands a little bit higher if they're in the way. Holding that globe between the palms. Nice and strong here. We're going to meet with knees together, feet together, crisscross of the ankle, and gently fold forward and release. Release the head, release the neck, release the breath. Softening the body. We've got one more variation here. When you're ready, tuck the chin in, walk the hands back toward the body, bringing those feet out in front. Knees are together, feet are together, foot between the heels and those sit bones. Arms are forward, palms face each other, opening into the heart, lengthening through the spine as we gently roll back. Coming up onto the tippy toes. And again, stay here. If this is enough for you, this is already balancing into the body. Again, we might alternate shins. We might continue to do that. We might bring both shins together. But again, keep lifting from the heart here. If you want to challenge a little bit further, we're going to bring the right hand to rest at heart center, left hand on top. We're going to keep the pose, but we're going to gently twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, gently twist to the left. Continue with your own breath. So this time, we automatically have a change in our point of focus. So again, we're challenging those deeper intrinsic core or stabilizing muscles. Just using the gaze, getting a nice little twist. A little bit of torsion into the body, but again, only as far as feels good for you. And again, option to stay with those toes touching the ground. Again, we're still getting into the balance. We're still getting into the core. We meet at center. Crisscross of the ankles last time. Fold forward and release. Release the head, release the neck, release the breath. Again, feel free to rock into the hips or rock into the head. Just loosening out the soft tissue within the body. Relax the breath. And then gently, from stillness, we'll tuck the chin in and walk those hands back toward the body. We're going to bring the hands forward out in front, fingers slightly spread, gently shift the body weight forward so we can step back onto the knees. And we're going to find ourselves in the center of our mats in a nice strong tabletop. Shoulders over elbows over wrists, elbow creases face forward. Hips are stacked over knees and knees are hip width distance apart. We can tuck the toes or untuck them, whatever feels good. Notice if the belly's collapsed here. I want you to really draw the belly button in until you feel those lower back muscles switch on. Inhale, draw the chest forward as we take the gaze up and arch the spine. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, take the gaze back toward the belly. Inhale, gaze goes forward and up, arching. Exhale, press into the ground, curl through the spine, really tuck the chin to the chest and continue with your own breath. Nice, generous cat-cow curls, the whole length of the body. Feel free to close the eyes down and just really engage with the movement. So not getting too caught up with what it looks like. What we want here is space, energy, movement throughout the whole length of the spine, whatever way feels good for your body to get that. We might even press the hips side to side or rock into the shoulders. So if there's a little variation that feels better for you in that tabletop. Listening. Trying to make the movement as flowy and as organic as you can. So getting rid of any stiffness or rigidity within the spine. Eventually, we're going to come back to stillness. Just checking in here, those shoulders are stacked over the wrists. We've got a nice direct line to the ground. Left hand stays grounded, fingers slightly spread. We're going to straighten that right arm out in front, really reach through the fingers. We're going to straighten the left leg behind and really press back through the left heel. If this is too much, you can keep that right hand on the ground and just keep the left foot elevated. We're going to look toward that right middle finger and see if we can follow that right middle finger with the gaze. We're going to inhale, right elbow, left knee into touch. And then exhale, straighten it out as we lift that back leg. Inhale, knee to elbow in. Exhale, extend it out and continue with your own breath. So again, if we want to challenge the balance, we're following the right middle finger with the gaze. If we need a little bit more stability, just keep that gaze to the ground, just to the right of that left hand. Noticing if we're collapsing into that left arm, readjust if you need so those joints are stacked and we're not feeling any pressure in the wrists. Another nice thing to do is just to place a towel or cushion underneath the left hand so you're kind of gripping into the towel and taking the pressure off the wrist. Really slowing it down here. Last one. We're going to meet an extension with that right arm out in front, and then we rest the right hand down to meet left. We're going to land on the ball of the left foot and gently press back through the heel. Get a nice little release here for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to rest the left heel down. Swivel on the right knee, we bring the right foot behind us. Right hand is on the ground, left hand comes to the hip. We're pressing the hip forward, drawing the left shoulder back. Notice if we're collapsing into the body, we might need to come up onto the finger pads or even up onto the block with that right hand. Inhale the left arm up, and as we exhale, we're going to reach the left arm all the way overhead. Arm is right back in line with the ear. So again, we're not reaching out to the left. Nice openness into the heart, engagement into the shoulder. Reaching through the fingers, pressing the outer blade of that left foot into the ground. Again, we might follow that left middle finger with the gaze. We're going to inhale, knee to elbow in. And then exhale, lengthen it out. We're reaching through fingertips. Inhale, knee to elbow in. Exhale, stretch it out and continue with your own breath. So again, try not to touch down the left foot if you can, challenging the balance. So again, least points of contact to the ground. We're challenging. If we need more stability, we increase our surface area to the ground. Really strong in the core and exaggerate that reach, both through the fingertips and through that left heel. We'll take one more breath and we're going to meet in extension with the left arm out front. Rest the foot to the ground. We bring the left hand back to the waist. We're going to bend the left knee. We can stay here or see if we can lift the knee up in line with the hip. Looking back, we don't want to see the left knee, so we're going to press that left foot back a little bit further. So keeping the lift, and if we want to challenge it further again, we can try straightening out that left leg, but keep it nice and high. For 3, lifting for 2, and 1. Rest the left foot. We're going to bring the left hand back to the ground, swivel on the right knee, and then slowly we bring that left knee back in to meet right. Same little sequence, opposite side. This time the right hand stays grounded, fingers widely spread, shoulders stacked over the wrists. We'll extend the left arm forward, pressing back through that right heel this time. Again, gaze to the ground, or we can follow that left middle finger with the gaze. Inhale, knee to elbow in. Exhale, extend it out and lift that back leg. Inhale, slowly in. Exhale, slowly out, and continue with your own breath, nice and strong. Slow, mindful movement, and just notice how it feels compared to the other side. As we lift that back leg, really feeling the glute engage, a little bit into the hamstring, lower back. Try not to collapse into that right arm, super strong, stack the joints, adjust the hand if you need. Last breath. Meeting an extension, arm out front, we rest the left hand down to meet right. We're going to land on the ball of the right foot, gently press away through the heel for 3. Stretching, releasing for 2. And 1, we'll drop the right heel down. We're going to swivel on the left knee and bring the left foot behind us. Left hand is on the ground, right hand is on the hip this time. Pressing the hips forward, drawing the right shoulder back, and again, come up onto the fingertips or up onto a block if you need. We're looking for space into the front of the body. Pressing the outer blade of the right foot into the ground, we'll inhale the right arm up, and as we exhale, reaching that right arm all the way to the front of the room. Arm is back in line with the ear, so we're not reaching out to the right. Nice open heart. Maybe following the right middle finger with the gaze, or we can take the gaze to the ground. Inhale, right elbow, right knee into touch. Exhale, lengthen it out as we press away through that heel. Inhale, really slowly in. Exhale, reach and extend out. Continue with your own breath. Trying not to touch down the foot if you can. Challenging the balance and exaggerate that reach. Feeling the whole right hand side of the body, the whole front of the body reach. And if you're feeling you're not getting that space into the front of the body, even reaching the foot and the arm slightly behind, and you really feel that extension, particularly into the front of the hip. We'll do one more. We're going to meet an extension, right arm overhead. We'll rest the right foot down. Right hand comes back to the waist. We're going to bend the right knee. See if we can lift that knee up in line with the hip and press the sole of that right foot as far behind as we can. If we want to go further, we might straighten the right foot, but keep the leg lifted. Holding it, lifting for 3, for 2, and 1. Rest the foot, rest the right hand back to the ground, swivel on the left knee, and then we bring that right knee back in to meet the left. Back into our tabletop. We're going to walk the hands forward out in front, fingers widely spread. We'll tuck both toes under, knees are hip width distance apart. We're just going to sit back toward the heels. Pressing the ground away, really drawing those sit bones back. Resting the forehead between the arms toward the ground. It may or may not touch, but just allow the head and neck relax. Take a nice full big belly breath. And as you exhale, sigh it out and let it go. Looking back between the toes, we're going to press the hands and feet firmly into the ground, hover the knees and lift those hips as high as we can toward the ceiling, slowly lowering the heels down toward the ground, as low as we can go, but not forcing it. Looking back between those feet, maybe between the knees, pressing the ground away, try to get the chest a little bit closer toward the mat. We're just going to gently paddle out the feet, allowing opposite heels melt softly toward the ground. Keeping those hips nice and high. Relax the head, relax the neck, relax the breath. And just getting a little bit of space and movement into those lower limbs, those hips, the heart. We're going to look forward between the hands and gently walk away to the front of the mat. Coming through a nice wide-legged forward fold. We bring those feet wider than mat width distance apart. Or you can turn sideways on the mat if you need a little bit more friction for the feet, if those floors are a little bit slippy. Fingertips come in line with the big toes, centered on the mat. And again, if you feel that those knees are bent or they're collapsing inward, we can get our block and place the fingertips to the block. So we've got lovely length into the legs, but we also have a nice long spine. Weight is back into the hips and heels, so see if you can wiggle those toes quite easy. Left hand stays centered. We're going to inhale the right arm up and open the heart. Gaze follows up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left arm up and open the heart. Gaze follows. Exhale, fold. And continue with your own breath. Alternating arms. Using the hand that's on the ground as a little lever to draw ourselves a little bit deeper into that twist. Opening into the heart, creating space into the spine, particularly that lower back. Feeling that release into the inner hip, depending on which arm is in the air. And again, as we sit back into heels and hips, we should feel that a little bit into the backs of the legs, but not overstretching, just getting a nice release here. Relax the breath and just allow yourself to totally go with the movement. Feel free to sigh the breath out on that exhale. We'll do one more, both sides. Last one. Leading in a nice relaxed forward fold. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out, release. Gently tuck the chin in. We're going to slowly roll away, all the way up to stand. Head comes up last. And then we can heel toe those feet toward each other, meeting at the front of the mat. We're going to go through a flow practice. So again, we're okay for the strap, but if you want to place your block, if you have it toward the set or toward the front edge of your mat, and we're going to meet at the front. Okay, so a few things to remember with our balance. When we want to bring focus or we want to bring stillness to our balance, we're trying to find a point out in front to fix our gaze, or a drishti point in yoga. If that point is moving, it's going to be more challenging. If we close down the eyes, it's going to be more challenging. Again, more surface contact to the ground, the easier our balance is. Least surface contact to the ground, the more challenging it's going to be. And again, we'll work with a few other things. Breath is really important. If we're not breathing, we're not getting that full benefit of that balanced pose, particularly in our static poses. So just think about breathing deeply into the belly and try to relax into our poses. So we're going to start at the front of the mat. Feet nicely grounded, about hip-width distance apart. Looking down at the toes here, and just notice if there's much space between the toes. So we're going to lift all the toes off the ground. Spread them as wide as we can, and one by one, starting with the baby toe, we're going to gently place the toes down, but trying to really create that lovely bit of space. So again, we're increasing our surface foundation here to the earth. Then we're going to draw the toes toward the heels, so we're feeling those arches of the feet activate. And as we exhale, just allow everything spread a little bit more. So really feeling quite rooted here. We're going to bring the hands to heart. Relax the shoulders back, lengthening tall through the crown of the head. Find that point out in front to focus your gaze. Relax the breath. We're going to inhale high up onto the balls of the feet, lifting through those heels as high as we can. Another thing to note, the harder our surface, the easier our balance is. If we've got a carpeted or softer mat surface, it's going to be challenging even before we start to go into our balance. So just bearing that in mind. Holding it here, lifting the heels as high as we can for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently release the heels. Again, inhale high up onto the balls of the feet. We can stay here, aiming for stillness. If we want to challenge it, softening at the knees, we're going to sit back into a little half chair. Knees are pointed forward, they're not splaying out to the sides. Try not to lean too far forward, too far back. So just centering our gravity. Lowering and then holding. Keeping the heels lifted wherever we are for 3. Gaze is relaxed for 2. And 1. Inhale all the way back up. And as we exhale, release the heels all the way down. We're going to ground that left foot and then inhale. Lift the right knee out in front. And again, feel free to do the sequence this morning near a wall or near a chair if you might need to touch off for balance. Nice 90-degree angles at the knee, the hip and the ankle, and just make sure that left hip hasn't popped out and we're collapsing into the right. From here, we're going to place the left hand to the outside of the leg. Inhale the right arm up, and as we exhale, gently twist to the right, bringing the right arm behind us, looking back toward the thumb if we can, maybe pressing the left hand into the leg if we can for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, turning back to the front of the room. We're going to soften the left knee and step back onto the ball of that right foot, nice and controlled, nice high lunge here. Dropping the right heel down, we'll extend the arms into our warrior. Palms face down, bending into the left knee and foot are pointed forward. Right foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. Left heel bisects the arch of the back foot. We're going to inhale, straighten the left leg, arms together overhead, look up. Exhale, bend the left knee, warrior lunge. 2 more. Following that left middle finger with the gaze if you want to challenge the balance. Otherwise, we can gaze toward the front of the mat. Last one. Meeting in our warrior, we're going to inhale, straighten the left leg. As we exhale, reach the left fingertips as far forward as we can go. Bring the back of the left hand to the inner leg. Extend the right arm up. Pressing the hips forward, draw the shoulder back. Maybe take the gaze up, holding it for 3, For 2. And 1, keeping the pose, we're going to bring the left arm all the way to reach to the front. Palm faces the ceiling. We'll bring the right arm overhead. Right palm faces left palm, almost like we're holding a globe between our hands. Maybe take the gaze up between the hands. Keep drawing that right shoulder back. Strong in the core for 3. Reaching through fingers for 2. And 1, inhale all the way back up. And as we exhale, bend the left knee, open the arms, warrior. Cartwheeling both hands down either side of the left foot, coming onto the ball of the right, we'll rest the right knee down. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart as we soften into the hips. Cushion that right knee if you need. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as we exhale, gently twist to the left. We're going to hook the right elbow to the outside of the leg. Press the palms together and really draw that left shoulder back. So front of the body parallel to the side of the room. Maybe pressing that right arm into the leg, lifting the belly off the leg. Maybe looking over the shoulder, still bending into the left knee. If we want to challenge it further, option only, pressing into the ball of the right foot, see if we can lift the knee off the ground, pressing back through the heel, but try not to lose our twist, holding it for 3. For 2. And 1, gently release the knee, slowly turning back to the front of the room. We're going to frame the left foot with both hands. Coming off the right knee, we'll walk those finger pads about half a foot out in front. Gently shift the body weight forward until we can lift that right heel as high as we can toward the ceiling. See if we can straighten the left leg. We might use our blocks here. We might hold on to a chair. We might place the hands against the wall, focusing on that lift. If you want to bring a little bit more balance, but keep that back leg lifted, you might hover 1 hand or 2 hands off the ground, or you might open those arms into airplane. Either way, just make sure that right foot is high, so we're not allowing the foot drop for the sake of the balance. Holding it for 3. For 2. And 1, hands back to the ground. Right foot comes back to meet left. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. Second side when you're ready. Again, feet nicely grounded, hands to heart. Relaxing through the shoulders, lengthening through the spine. We're going to ground that right foot into the mat. Gently lift the left knee out in front. 90-degree angles at all the joints. And again, feel free to touch off the wall. And little by little, making that touch off a little bit less. Grounding that right foot. Right hand comes to the outside of the left leg. We'll inhale the left arm up. And as we exhale, gently twist to the left. Reaching back through that left arm. Pressing the shoulder back, looking back toward the thumb. Maybe pressing that right hand into the leg. Holding it here. Aiming for stillness for 3. Lengthening the spine for 2. And 1, inhale, slowly turning to the front of the room, hands to heart, softening the right knee. We're going to step back onto the ball of the left foot this time. A little bit of proprioception, finding ourselves in space. Dropping the left heel down, opening the arms into our warrior, palms face down, bending into the right knee and foot face forward. We're drawing those inner thighs toward each other. Following the right middle finger with the gaze, we'll inhale, straighten the right leg, arms together overhead, look up. Exhale, bend the right knee, warrior lunge. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen and rise. Exhale, warrior lunge. 1 more. Meeting in a warrior, we'll inhale, straighten the right leg, and as we exhale, reach the right fingertips as far forward as we can go. Bring the back of the right hand to the inner leg. Extend the left arm up, pressing the hips forward, drawing the left shoulder back, taking the gaze up. Pressing that right hand into the leg, so we're really getting a nice bit of space into the hips for 3. For 2. And 1, bring the right arm out in front, palm faces the ceiling, bring the left arm overhead. Left palm faces right. Both arms are back in line with the ears. We might take the gaze between the hands. Reaching through fingers for 3. For 2. And one, inhale all the way back to center. As we exhale, bend the right knee, open the arms, warrior lunge. Cartwheel both hands down either side of the foot, coming onto the ball of the left. Resting the left knee down, cushion it if you need. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. As we exhale, hands to heart and soften into the hips. Try to keep that right knee stacked over the ankle. We're going to inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as we exhale, gently twist to the right, placing the left elbow to the outside of the leg. Palms are together, right elbow points toward the ceiling. See if we can draw that right shoulder back. So trying to get the front of the body parallel to the side room. Pressing that left arm into the leg. See if we can lift the belly off the leg so those hands are coming a little bit closer to the heart. And we can look back over the shoulder. If you want to challenge it a little bit further, pressing into the ball of the left foot, lifting off the knee, but try not to lose your twist. Nice and strong in that left knee, so it's not bent and it's not shaken. Nice and strong. Holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the left knee. Inhale, turning to the front. As we exhale, frame the right foot. We're going to come off the left knee. Walk those finger pads about half a foot out in front. Gently shift the body weight forward to lift that left heel as high as we can toward the ceiling. Straightening that right leg if we can. Use our blocks if we need, a chair or the wall out front. Again, focusing on the lift. When we have the lift, maintaining it, maybe hovering one hand, maybe hovering 2 hands off the ground, or maybe opening into our airplane. Lifting that back leg. Gaze is relaxed. We're not looking forward, we're not looking back. Neck is an extension of the spine for 3. Lifting for 2. And 1. Release the hands, release the left foot down to meet right. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. Second round when you're ready. Take a little drink if you need. And again, we're going to meet at the front of the mat. Just make sure you have a little bit of space out in front. So feet nicely grounded, about hip width distance apart. This time, arms are by the sides, palms are open. We're going to draw those shoulders back, lengthening tall through the spine. Really grounding that left foot into the mat. We're going to inhale, lift the right knee out in front. And again, we might stay here, just focusing on lifting that right knee, lengthening into the body. If we feel stable, find a point out in front to fix your gaze. As we exhale, we're going to flip the palms back. We're going to press that right foot back as far back as we can go with a straight leg. And when we can't go any further, see if we can hinge the body forward. Gaze is forward all the time. Inhale, flip the palms forward. We're going to lift that right knee out in front. Again, you can use a chair for this. Exhale, flip the palms back as we press that right foot back as far as we can go, and then gently hinge forward. Keeping the heart open, gaze forward. Last one, inhale, lift that right knee out in front. This time as we exhale, soften the left knee. We're going to step back onto the ball of the right foot, nice and strong. Dropping the right heel down, opening the arms back into our warrior. Inhale, straighten the left leg, arms together overhead, look up. Exhale, bend the left knee, warrior. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen and rise. Exhale, warrior lunge. Last one, nice and strong. Meeting in our warrior, we're going to inhale, straighten the left leg as we exhale. Reach the left fingertips as far forward as we can go. Bring the back of the hand to the inner leg. Extend the right arm up, looking up for 3. Pressing those hips forward for 2. And 1, we're going to inhale the right arm all the way overhead, reaching through fingers. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the right hand down to meet the left. Inhale, both arms together all the way up overhead. And then exhale, bend the left knee, open the arms, warrior lunge. Cartwheeling both hands down either side of the left foot, coming onto the ball of the right. We'll rest the right knee down. Cushion it if you need. We'll inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart as we soften into the hips. Left knee stacked over the ankle. Inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, twist to the left, hooking the right elbow to the outside of the leg. Palms are pressed together. We're drawing the left shoulder back, pressing that right arm into the leg. If we want to challenge it further, we can press into the ball of that right foot, lifting off the knee, pressing back through the heel, holding it, looking over the shoulder for 3, for 2, and 1. Staying in our twist, we're going to inhale the right arm off the leg and open those arms nice and wide, looking back toward the thumb. That right knee can be on or off the ground for 3, for 2, and 1. Turning back to the front of the room, hands to heart. We frame the left foot with both hands, coming off the knee if we're not there already. Walking those finger pads again, about half a foot out in front. Gently shift the body weight forward, lifting that right heel toward the ceiling. If we want to change it, we can work toward our airplane, or we can keep the left hand grounded, either on or off the block. Bring that right hand to the waist, and then see if we can open the body to the right side of the room, really slowly. Lifting that back leg a little bit more, drawing that right shoulder back. Again, we can stay here, or we can extend that right arm up. We can take the gaze up if we feel super comfortable here. Holding it wherever we are for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the right hand. We're going to bend the left knee, bend the right knee, and we're going to place the right knee behind the left knee. So we're coming into a little pelican pose, drawing the right heel toward the bum. So we're going to feel this into the left hip predominantly here. We can stay here if we want to challenge it. We can hover the fingertips off the ground, 1 hand, 2 hands, and we can bring the hands to heart, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the hands, release the right foot down to meet left, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Second side when you're ready. Again, meaning at the front, just making sure we have a little bit of space out front. Feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart. Arms by the sides, palms are open to the front. Relax the shoulders, finding that point out in front to fix your gaze. Grounding that right foot into the mat. We're going to inhale, lift the left knee out in front. And again, just finding stillness here. This is where we might stay. This is challenging enough. If you want to challenge it further, we're going to inhale, lift the left knee. And as we exhale, flip the palms back. We're going to press that left foot back as far as we can go, and then gently hinge the body forward, keeping those shoulders drawn back, gaze is forward all the time. Inhale, flip the palms forward. We lift that left knee out in front. Exhale, flip the palms back. As we press the left foot back, gently hinging forward. Just notice if one side's a little bit easier than the other. Last one, inhale, lift the left knee out in front. This time as we exhale, we're going to soften the right knee and step back into a nice high lunge. So landing on the ball of that left foot, dropping the left heel down, we open the arms into our warrior. Inhale, straighten the right leg, arms together overhead, look up. Exhale, bend the right knee, warrior. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen and rise. Exhale, warrior. Last one, drawing those inner thighs toward each other, super strong in the legs. Exhale, warrior. Meeting here, we'll inhale, straighten the right leg. As we exhale, reach the right fingertips far forward, bring the back of the hand to the inner leg. Extend the left arm up, press those hips forward, draw the shoulder back, looking up for 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale the left arm all the way overhead, reaching through fingers, and as we exhale, we bring the left hand down to meet the right. Inhale, both hands together, all the way overhead. And then exhale, bend the right knee, open the arms, warrior. Cartwheeling both hands down, either side of the right foot, coming onto the ball of the left. We'll soften the left knee to the ground. Cushion it if you need. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. As we exhale, hands to heart, softening into the hip. Inhale, lengthen tall. And as we exhale, gently twist to the right, hooking the left elbow to the outside of the leg. Palms are pressed together, elbow points toward the ceiling. We're going to draw the right shoulder back, Maybe pressing that left arm into the leg, lifting the belly off the leg, so those hands come a little bit closer to the heart. If you want to challenge it, pressing into the ball of the left foot, lifting off the knee, but maintaining that balance, that lovely twist for 3. Strong in the leg for 2. And 1, staying in our twist, we're going to lift the arm off the leg, open those arms nice and wide. Knee on or off the ground, looking back toward the right thumb for 3. Opening into the heart for 2. And 1, inhale, turning back to the front of the room. Framing the right foot with both hands, coming off the left knee if we're not there already. Finger pads about half a foot out in front. Gently shift the body weight forward till we can lift that left heel nice and high. Stay here using the wall, using the chair, maybe working toward airplane. If you want to try something different, right hand stays on the ground or claw grip or maybe onto the block. Left hand comes to the left hip. And we're going to open the body to the left side of the room, keeping that left leg nice and high, working that left shoulder back. Maybe extending the left arm toward the ceiling, maybe even taking the gaze up. Try to relax the breath and notice if you're holding it. Releasing into the pose for 3, for 2, and 1. The left hand comes back to the ground, right hand comes back to meet it. We're going to soften the right knee, bend the left knee and place it just behind the right knee. Drawing the left heel toward the bum, so nice and active here. So again, we can keep those finger pads on the ground. This is challenging enough without doing anything else. If you want to challenge it further, you can have a 1 hand or 2 hands off the ground, or maybe even bring those hands to heart center, pressing the palms together, holding it here. Feeling that into the right hip for 3, for 2, and 1. Hands come to the ground, left foot comes to meet right, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Well done. Take a little drink if you need. We've got 1 penultimate pose before we finish. Lovely. So we're going to work into our tree pose. So our tree pose is one of the magical poses of yoga, working in balance, core, hip strength, hip space, and everything in between. So we're going to meet on a hard surface, preferably. So if we've got a particularly squidgy surface, we're probably better finding a nice hard surface. Feet nicely grounded, about hip width distance apart, hands come to hips. We're going to open that right hip and place the right heel just above the ankle. But just notice if the left hip pops out, we're going to pop it back in. So we're nice and strong here in the hips. We're working the right knee out, so we should feel that right glute really working here. We can stay here, or we might bring the right foot to rest on the calf, but still working that right knee open. Or we might bring the right foot to rest on the upper inner thigh, but again, all the time opening into the hip space. And again, you can use a chair or a wall to balance yourself a little bit. And over time, just taking that hand away. We're going to find a point out in front to fix our gaze. So ideally something that's not moving. Maybe bringing the hands to heart and trying to create a little bit more length into the spine. So we could be looking to where the wall meets the ceiling meets the floor, or just some nice fixed object in between. Relax the shoulders. Notice if we're holding our breath, try to draw it a little bit deeper down into the belly. And just notice that right foot. So it's either just above or just below the knee. We don't want to be pressing into the actual knee joint itself. Spreading the toes of that left foot. If we want to work into our full tree, we're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. And as we exhale, opening our branches, nice and wide, pressing index finger and thumb together, relax the shoulders, pressing the heart forward, drawing the belly in, super strong here. And again, keep coming back to that nice relaxed breathing, grounding ourselves within the pose. Softening the body, softening the breath. If you want to challenge the pose, you can always sway your branches. You can always close down your eyes, taking that point of focus out of it, really challenging. You maybe try coming up onto the ball of that left foot, even if the heel's just lifted a millimeter, challenging those ankles, those lower limbs. Really good one for anybody who does anything off-road. Just working out those ankles and lower legs. Wherever we are, we're just going to come back to stillness, easing into the pose for 3. For 2. And 1, gently bring the hands back to heart. We bring that right knee out in front and then exhale, release and let it go. We're going to shake that left foot out. Really strong in that standing leg. So just getting a little bit of blood flow back in. And we'll walk over to our other side when you're ready. Feet nicely grounded. Hip width distance apart. Hands to hips. Again, this time we're going to rotate the left hip open, resting the heel just above the ankle. And again, just notice we want those hip bones to be directly in line. Maybe bringing the foot to the calf or maybe even into the upper inner thigh. Finding that point out in front to fix your gaze. Nice and relaxed in the shoulders. Maybe bringing the hands to heart. Spreading widely through those right toes. So really increasing our surface area. Relax the shoulders. Twisting that left hip open, but not the full body. So body points to the front of the room. And just maintaining stillness or aiming for stillness. Use the wall, use the chair if you need. Think about lengthening the spine. So again, imagining a piece of string attached to the crown of your head, drawing you tall toward the ceiling. Working toward our full 3, we'll inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. And as we exhale, opening our branches. Pressing index finger and thumb together, relax the shoulders, opening into the heart. Drawing the belly in. Relax the breath, relax the gaze, relax the face. Allowing our body soften into the pose. Feel free to challenge your pose. Swaying your branches, maybe closing down the eyes, maybe coming up onto the ball of the right foot, and just notice how it feels comparing to the left. So we've heart space, we've hip space, we've lower limb engagement, core engagement, breath work. So many things happening in our 3 pose. And just allowing the body settle here for 3. For 2. And 1. Slowly bringing those hands back to heart. We'll bring the left knee out in front and gently release, exhale and let it go. Shaking that right foot out nice and easy. Lovely. We're going to meet one last time at the front of the mat just to flush the body out. Feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart, hands to heart. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. We can step or lightly jump back to plank, whatever feels good for you. If we're jumping, look to where we want those feet to land and try to land as softly as we can. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows tucked in. Roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground as we lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground, we lift the hips. Downward dog and walk it out one last time. Again, just getting a little bit of blood flow and energy into those lower limbs that have been working quite hard this morning. Feel free to rock into the hips, getting a little release into the glutes. Maybe looking in underneath the armpits, getting a nice little stretch into the side waist. Relax the breath, relax the head, relax the neck, and eventually coming to stillness. We're going to release down onto the knees. Bring the big toes to touch and just gently sit back toward the heels, making a little pillow by piling one hand or one fist on top of the other. Into a nice relaxed child's pose. We're going to shift the hips side to side, releasing any last little bit of tension in the lower body. Maybe rock the head side to side, releasing any tension in the upper body. And as we do so, allow the heart melt, allow the belly melt. Allow the breath relax and eventually rocking ourselves to stillness. And just take a moment here to re-engage with that lovely deep breath. Noticing if we've been holding it, notice if it's caught up in the chest. Trying to draw it as deep as we can down into the belly. Feel the ribcage expand, feel the diaphragm lift, feel the heart open. And as you exhale, release and let it go. When you're ready, we're going to press the hands into the ground, tuck the chin into the chest, and slowly walk the hands back toward the body until we're sitting all the way back up onto the heels. And we can bring those knees together. And we can finish here, sitting back at the heels. We can come back into easy cross-legged or any other seat that feels more comfortable for you this morning. So coming back to where we started, sitting as tall and as strong and as open as we can, opening the palms to the ceiling. We'll inhale both arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward, release the breath, sigh it out, and let it go. We'll do that twice more. So a nice big stretch. And release. Last one. Gently bringing the hands to heart, press the palms together, close down the eyes, and just thank yourself for creating a little bit of space in your morning to come to the mat, to look after yourself, to create some great energy, some lovely balance, some lovely strength, and hopefully take that with you into the day and into the rest of the week ahead. And thank you for sharing your practice and your energy with me. Namaste.